Brian Powell of I Run Far here with Camille Herron before the 2015 100k World Championships. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm ready.
Are you?
Absolutely.
Mentally, physically?
I feel great. I'm ready. I've been prepping myself mentally, physically all summer for this, so I'm definitely I'm ready to release myself.
So more excited than nervous?
Oh, I don't get nervous.
No?
No, not at all. It's more like I've been holding it in for months since I ran the 100k, and I'm just ready to just go.
Was that March or April?
It's April.
And that was your first 100k?
Yeah.
You won the Mad City 100k in a ridiculously fast time. 7
hours and 26 minutes.
26. That's. And you probably had no context to put that in, right?
I didn't even know I'd run a fast. I didn't know that was a fast time until the race director Timo called me 2 days after while I was driving to work, and he said I broke all these records. And so yeah, I mean, I was just trying to qualify for the team and break the course record, and if I had known I was on pace to run a really good time, I may have pushed myself a little harder. So
rumor is you were walking a little bit at the end just because you could.
Yeah, I mean, I knew what the course record was, and I was so far under that I was just like, oh, I just got to get to the finish. And so really I was training for comrades, and so I didn't want to push myself all out. I just knew I had to get through it, and so I went into the race knowing that I was going to only push half of it and then just jog the rest of it and make sure I got the course record. So yeah, I ended up running like really well.
You did. And that was only your second ultra, right? Or your third start.
Technically, yeah. So it was my second finish and my third start. But yeah, I mean, I feel like my husband tells me that my husband coaches me. My husband's Connor Holt, and so he tells me that he knew I was going to be a great ultra runner, but he didn't want to tell me that until like the moment was right for me to release myself onto the world. And so I've gotten a ton of marathon experience and competitive experience, and I'm really excited now to just go and do the ultras and see how well I can do.
Well, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your running background. How far back does it go, and what got you here?
So I ran in high school as a multi-time state champion. Ran in college briefly at University of Tulsa. I had a lot of stress fractures, and so I ended up getting a medical hardship. And in the meantime, I met my husband, who was a professional runner. He ran for ASICS and Power Bar, and so I was helping him with his own marathoning career. And he qualified for the 2004 Olympic marathon trials, and I was his support crew back then. And so we ended up going to train up in Boulder back in the summer of 2004, and just being around all the other elite runners. I'd always been inspired by my husband, but one day we went out for a run, and I was running further than him, and he's like, well, how much are you running? And you know, just as a recreational runner at the time, I was running about 70 miles per week. And he was like, wow, that's pretty good, like just to be running for fun. And so he started coaching me, and from there I just took off, and I dropped 2 minutes off my 5K time, and the further I ran, the faster I could maintain really well. So you know, one thing led to another. I qualified for the Olympic marathon trials in 2008. I've made 3 Olympic marathon trials now, and 2 U.S. teams in both the marathon and the 100K. So you know, what started out is just trying to help my husband and seeing, you know, I remember thinking, you know, how far 22 miles was on a training run, and I'm driving it and he's running it. But I had perspective, you know, on what it took as far as fueling and hydration, and I got really inspired from that. And so that's pretty much what led me into becoming, you know, a serious athlete again after college. So but yeah, I mean, I found out that I had a real knack for running a lot and running really far. I've actually averaged over 100 miles per week since November of 2006. So I'm almost 9 years of running, averaging over 100 miles per week, and
it's a pretty good base.
I got a pretty good aerobic base, and you know, my mentality as a marathoner is to just run out of my skin pretty much the entire time, and so when I went into the 100K, I told myself to run a little bit slower than marathon pace, and so when I found myself under American record pace at halfway, and I was like, wow, I think that's pretty good. But yeah, it just the Mad City course was logistically, it was kind of a really tough course, and so I knew after the first loop it wasn't a great course to try to go for the American record. So I just did what I had to do to make the team, and broke the course record, and yeah, here I am. I'm ready to do this and see what I can do.
And what are you hoping to do?
Well, I joke. I was trying to talk to the men. I was like, well, how fast are you guys going to be going? Because I was like, well, maybe I can not be lapped by the men. But then I was like, well, I was trying to do the math. I was like, I had to run pretty fast. But yeah, I mean, you know, in a dream world, it'd be great to run under 7 hours. You know, and I'm gonna push myself as hard as I can, and you know, it's like my high school coach used to say, you know, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna do the push as hard as I can, and you know, if I can break the American record, break 7 hours, that would be a dream come true for me.
Now, how do you mix that in with this being a team race? You know,
yeah.
Because if you go for a super fast time,
yeah,
you can blow up.
Well, I like that kind of pressure.
Yeah?
I like the fact that finding out that it is cumulative time. So you know, maybe I can run fast enough to help make up for that. So yeah, I'm real excited for to see how we can do as a team. I think we're pretty good. You know, there's some really good teams that have run like 730s, 740s. But yeah, I mean, if I run really fast, you know, and then, you know, it all evens out. So yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Now, how are you going to set your effort or your pace, or how are you going to do it based on time, or how do you, because you only have two ultras under your belt?
Yeah, no, I run by effort. I've always run marathons by effort. I don't run by GPS. I actually, when I ran the 100K, I had no idea what kind of pace I was going to hit, and I think that was kind of a good thing, because I do progression runs with the heart rate monitor, and so I know what 80% effort feels like, 80% of heart rate feels like, and so I just focused on what I've practiced in training, what 80% effort felt like, and it ended up being 6:35, 6:45 pace. And you know, being a really to be hitting that Mad City on rolling hills, and you know, stepping from sidewalk to bike path and everything, I was pretty encouraged that I was even able to hit that. And so hopefully, you know, getting on a flatter course, better footing, that it'll feel even easier. So yeah,
you got some lofty goals out there.
Yeah, no, I feel like this is what I'm meant to do. It's amazing. I mean, I'm so used to the intensity of the marathon, and the ultras is more like a slow burn. Yeah.
So what brought you to ultras? Why ultra marathons?
Well, actually, what happened was I've had a couple injuries the past few years. I had plantar fasciitis, I had hamstring issues, and so I couldn't do a whole lot of speed work. But I was logging my typical 120, 130 miles per week, and just because I couldn't do so much speed work, my husband was like, well, why don't you try some ultras? And so I'd heard about Two Oceans, so I ran the New York City Marathon back in 2011, and I remember talking to David Monty, and he was talking about, I think he mentioned Two Oceans to me, and I remember Googling it and thinking, oh, that would be a really good debut. So
fast ultra.
Yeah, it was a really good course, and so I was dealing with plantar fasciitis at the time, and so I think everybody thought I was probably going to go out too hard and like die or something, but I actually went out too conservative, and so I didn't know where I was place-wise until maybe about the last one quarter of the race, and I didn't realize I was so far back, and so then I ended up trying to pass people, and before I knew it was over. So yeah, it was kind of a mixed bag, my first ultra, but I feel like I've gotten more confidence the more I've done it. Mad City, you know, I wasn't really sure what I was going to feel. And so I feel like my confidence is getting better, and I feel like I can, I know what to expect, I know how I'm going to feel, I know how to fuel myself, how to hydrate, so it's a learning process for me, but it was the same with the marathon. Each marathon that I kept doing, I kept getting better and better, and kept improving, and so I think it's going to be the same with ultras.
Well, great. Well, best of luck out there.
Cool.
Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.